You're all well. Right, the public participation. Would you like to start?
Yep, shall I start?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Just before we start, Mr. Diskin, we've got an item, I think it's number 7. Don't know whether you'd want to talk when the item comes out on item 7, or it would kind of make sense for me, but it's up to you.
I'd be happy to speak if I can at item 7, please.
No worries. Yes, fine. Yeah.
Okay.
It's when I get to item 7, I'll just address you and then you can start talking about it. No worries. Thank you. Yeah, Karen, no worries.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to raise some issues with the Town Council. My name is Mark Reeve and I live next to Somerset Cricket Club ground. I'm co-director of Priory Lodge Taunton Management Company Limited. There are 10 leasehold properties, all members of the management company. We look after the properties and grounds all on a voluntary basis. Our relationship with Somerset County Cricket Club has been a good one and I hope will continue to be so. One-off events like Rod Stewart, Elton John and Lionel Richie have come and gone, and in the main we're never going to be an issue for neighbours, not in our 10 properties. The T20 Fans Village proved and continues to prove to be somewhat of a test as to what is acceptable to us from a social disturbance point of view. Here we have up to now also had a good neighbourly relationship with the club. The worst event in our experience was the Craig Charles Funk Soul Night, when the volume levels emanating from the stage, which had been positioned just over our boundary wall, were to our mind too excessive. From that point on, close liaison with the club was agreed and steps had been taken to mitigate the disturbance to our lives. The main stage, now used for music, when events are in the car park, was positioned on the opposite side and the sound levels have been acceptable. The club forewarned us of the Somerset Winter Wonderland when we met with them on the 3rd of November. They told us of plans that were underway. At first we thought how lovely, and the picture of a wonderland with ice skating, Santa's grotto, some handicraft and food stalls, a bar and some children's rides did sound idyllic, even if it was going to run for 5 weeks. It was only after a day or two of afterthought that we realised the impact this could have on our lives. The talk of generators concerned us, as we had had a problem with generators running 24/7 for the Fans Village. The humming noise at night was not appreciated by the residents of Prior's Walk. Having raised concerns about the Winter Wonderland generators, we were told in writing they would be silent. The Best Events company, who contracted with Somerset County Cricket Club, had given the club the promise, the overall a low noise event, all good for the community. We had other thoughts, and I think we were right to complain to the council about the Winter Wonderland being set up in a car park surrounded on 3 sides by a residential area. The noise from generators, the noise from screaming adults and children on the rides, the generator fumes, one property owner describes as toxic food smells, the bright lights, all have been too much for some residents who live nearby. At night, the noise from the generator that keeps the ice rink can be heard by a couple who live in St Augustine Street, well over 100 yards away. Imagine what it is like for those living closer. One nearby resident has said, what an absolute monstrosity on so many levels this attraction is. I really don't think the cricket club knew to what extent Best Events were going to try and maximise revenues by bringing in so many fairground rides, including dodgems and a sky ride. It's not, I think, suitable for a residential area, maybe one night or one weekend, not for 5 weeks. I know Somerset Council have received a number of complaints and the Environment and Health team are carrying out investigations. I was present during one of their visits, it was last night, to a home the most severely affected I know of. The lady who lives there had been in tears on the phone to me the week before asking for help. The generator that powers the rides is positioned right next to her property. I find it unbelievable the E&H staff were not considering an abatement order against Best Events for the noise pollution which is causing so much distress. At the very least, they could be doing so and then fining Best Events for breaching the abatement order. I can't see this Winter Wonderland tragedy being stopped this year. Too much investment, probably poor attendance due to weather and some poor reviews, and the unwillingness of the E&H team and Somerset Council to put a stop to it. I do hope that Somerset Cricket Club will be taking on board the upset
about these functions before they go ahead, to make sure that the public, there is a proper public consultation. I don't know why we didn't know Marcus in the best one, but it's certainly for the future. And if the same company are intending to come back to Taunton, because it's good to have good social events in Taunton, but they have to be managed properly. We want the kids to have fun at Christmas and families, but we don't want it to be at the detriment to anybody else. So we've got it's got to be a balance, and I think we should be part of making sure that there's a balance. But I'm able to pass it on to you, Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think that's the state of it. Echo what you say about the sort of the limitations of our role, especially in relation to licensing, but perhaps there is something that the council could do in terms of a follow-up with the letter, or how you may feel. Just in terms of prior knowledge, I do believe that the operators did approach the town council seeking to use the park, and that approach was rejected. But in terms of the follow-up event, I'm not quite sure yet how much we knew or officially consulted on such, certainly not through this committee, like we are with certain licensing.
All right, thank you very much. I kind of think it would make sense to Mr. Reid to possibly the town council just, is there a possibility we could write to the licensing team at Somerset again, just querying Mr. Reid's issues, and that we echo as a town council, saying that, you know, any future events would be great as more consultation. That would be impactful for us. I think that would be good, and it kind of echoes what we said last month as well. So I think it keeps us being consistent, but also shows that we're willing to, council staple.
Thanks, just answering to that. Was there any response from last month? Because we did question it last month. Did anything come back from Unitary Council from Somerset?
No, I don't think so. That's Councillor Lesson.
Yeah, I think I echo what Judy said, but I think as well, it's more than what we can learn about for next year now seems to be the most likely route in which we can help. I'm just wondering, is it potentially possible that we can make a calendar note of this to maybe remind ourselves in one of the planning meetings, maybe in start of Q4 next year?
Yeah.
To just, because if we have been kept, well, not deliberate possibly, but if there is potentially they're trying to stage the event, whether it be in the same location or another one, that we actually actively try and find out in advance if something's going ahead. Is that something we can we do a sort of diary nudge for next October?
And a forward plan.
In
Forward plan for the next Q4 next year.
Just so that we can be proactive in trying to actually
ask the
think,
question.
to ask the question in future.
Good idea.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll go back with a apply. We'll also put it in the diary for Q4 next year, and we'll do that. Does that sound good? Okay, thank you very much. Right, you'll obviously come on for item number 7. So perfect. So we're just going to go through a few items, and then we'll come up to number 7. Okay, thank you very much. So the first item is apologies. To receive apologies for absence, approve the reasons given. Have we got any apologies for this evening?
Yeah, I've received apologies from Councillor Coult's chair because he's feeling unwell.
No worries. Thank you very much. And I wish Councillor to get better. Right, declaration of interest. Members to declare any interest on this evening. Is there any interest at all?
Yeah, look.
Absolutely.
Oops. Yeah, I've got interest. I'm just looking to thank you. I've not missed what the item is. It is. Right, it's item on plan 14210047. Still a member of Westmoreland Parish Council at the moment.
No worries. Thank you very much. Right, we'll go to the minutes. Minutes to approve and sign as a correct minutes of the previous planning committee held on the 20th of March.
Yeah, sorry, Chair, just before you go on to
That's right.
approve those, can I just give an update on matters arising essentially just on some of the things that you discussed last time out?
Yes.
So the Priory Avenue Thomas More Court matter, we have installed a speed indicator device on a
Excellent.
light fixture on the street. Now they have come back and said it faces more towards Cannon Street.
Okay.
But hopefully it has a desired deterrent effect as well. And then I'm going to have to see and follow up if we can get 3 and 4, which are closer further down on Priory, Priory Avenue. But that seems to have gone down well. The crossing by the Dunelm one, I have had a positive reply from the traffic management team at Somerset, and they said they're willing to actually move the 30 miles an hour roundels further towards the Wicks roundabout, as they said they used to be, and they're not quite sure why that they don't move. So that's positive. The Grove Gate road markings, they did come back and say, oh, we think this has been sorted. But I drove past and there is still no keep here, so I've gone back to them and said, no, definitely not. So I haven't had a reply yet on that, but obviously I'll keep members updated. On the charitable collection licensing policy, I think there were some comments there around understanding some of the restrictions on the number of charities who may apply to collect on the same day in the same place. The licensing manager came back and said there would be no restrictions. There are policies, established practices that they inherited from the district councils, which limit collections to one at a time, but this does occasionally cause problems, particularly at Christmas or in the wake of international crisis appeals, when there may already be collections authorised. As you all have read, we cannot regulate or control collections in the street where the public are asked to sign up to direct debit payments, and yet there don't appear to be excessive number of collections taking place at once. But he thanked us for our submission. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Right, so the minutes to approve and sign is correct record of the minutes of the previous planning committee held on the 20th of November 2025. Has everybody had a chance to have a look through the new version? Any comments? No. Okay, so could I get a proposal to support, please? Councillor Stayforth, could I get a seconder, please? Councillor Lester.
Oh,
I flinched.
Sorry,
We were fighting
I
over
was chinking.
So I'm saying it. Carried. Brilliant. Thank you. This item is forwarding plan. Members to note the planning development and licensing forwarding plan. Everybody had a chance to look through this.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. You'll have noticed I've added the government reconsulting on the new national policy planning framework. So that would be, I think the submission deadline is March. So our neighbourhood development plan consultant has suggested it might be worth the town council having a look at that, seeing what some of the sector bodies such as SALC and SLCC are putting together. So I'll keep an eye out for that and look to bring that forward to a future committee for us to look at.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll note that one. Thank you. Right. Traffic management, parking issues on Albemarle Road. Sure. Take over. Yeah, go for
Do I
it.
need the microphone or?
Yeah, that would really help.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Neil Disco. I'm from TS Converting Equipment Limited is the name of the company. Oh, almost your neighbours. We're on Albemarle, just across. The business has been operating for several decades and we employ just under 40 employees. We manufacture capital equipment for web processing industries, so people in the medical device industries, tape, adhesive tapes, and several other people who process films, basically. So we manufacture equipment there. The general operating hours of the company are 8 AM to 5 PM. But we are constantly plagued by illegal parking. We have two gates, one for the main car park and one for goods in. And it is almost a daily event where someone is illegally parked in front of the gates, which can be slightly disruptive and annoying. But we've had several occasions where people have completely parked in front of all the gates and we can't even enter the premises to start the day. You know, employees have to go and find somewhere to park and it's very disruptive. And on several occasions, we have containers coming in to take machines that we've finished off to customers. Often these are international containers, so we've got the containers booked in. They usually are to arrive by 8. You know, the sooner we load them, the better. And then they'd be taking the goods away. They'd be normally head into a port, Southampton port, and they'd be booked onto a ship to head off. So it's massively disruptive. And it results in us having to go around knocking on the doors to find out who owns the cars to move them, just so we can open the gates to get into our premises or allow a container in, which has happened recently. The road is double yellow lined. I think there is some trace of some other keep clear sign or paint that was painted on the road that's that's not really legible anymore. And we have on all the gates 24-hour access required, no parking. So it's very clear that nobody should park there. There's also a fire safety risk. You know, if there is a fire in the premises, the fire brigade won't be allowed to, or won't be able to enter to fight the fire. So it's putting our business at risk, and it's very disruptive to the operations of our business, and it's such a frequent event. I also sent an email to the parking enforcement email address. If they could send the wardens round earlier in the day, they'd pay for their overtime in the fines that they'd be able to distribute. Because I think what we all understand is people are illegally parking because they know the enforcement officers don't patrol until maybe after 9. We operate at 8, and like I say, it's a frequent occurrence. It's not a one-off. So what I think what I'd asked on the email to Jonathan was if we could have clearly hatched lines put in front and enforcement patrols to come early, you know, so we can have both the preventative and the reactive measures to help. All we're asking is, you know, help so we can run our business, continue, you know, without interruption.
Great, thank you very much. I actually know this road very well, and yeah, it is a massive issue with illegal parking on that road. Yeah, from the past, using that road, I know where the business actually works, and yeah, I feel sorry for you. You know, when it's 8 o'clock, you've got clear signs outside your house, and still people doing it. You know, it does affect the business. So I definitely think as a town council, we should do what we can to help. Obviously, when it comes to the highways, obviously Taunton Town Council don't own the highways, or you know, put permissions in to put double yellows, or you know, keep clear signs, or you know, road markings. But I know that if obviously that being Somerset Council, they'd want the backing from Taunton Town Council before even going to that. So you're doing the right thing coming to Taunton Town Council first, because if you went to Somerset, straight away they say, have you got backing from Taunton Town Council, etc. So I definitely think as a council we should make it clear that yeah, this is definitely affecting the business, but also it stops that illegal parking going on. Marcus?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Sorry, I was just going to, I did send a message to the traffic management team at Somerset Council in the knowledge that this was likely to come forward as an agenda item, and they said they've only seen the zigzags used outside schools or fire stations, not around business entrances. There is already parking restrictions across this entrance, double yellow lines which denote no parking at any time, which is enforceable by our parking contractor during the hours they operate. I've actually been past, and yeah, it's completely faded on the floor. The deep there, markings on there. They said if the lines are faded, then we can get them refreshed, but it won't be until after April next year now, because their budgets for this year are already exhausted. The current restrictions are equally as enforceable as no stopping on markings. The no stopping on markings can have a specified time on them, e.g. during school hours, or can be 24-hour, and they are accompanied by a sign with times if applicable. Double yellow lines do not require a sign. You can also have curb blits, which indicate no loading as well as no parking, and can also prevent blue badge drivers parking, as they can park on DYL for up to 3 hours double yellow light. So that's the initial response. So obviously happy if the committee wish to support the gentleman's request to go back with a more formal one. Thank you.
Definitely. Councillor Stainthorpe. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, it's ridiculous. This shouldn't be happening. Apart from this, it's dangerous. You know, if emergency services need to get in, and both entrances are blocked, this is just, you know, we seem to be having this problem a bit too often in Taunton, so we need to engage more with traffic management. I think that's one thing possibly we need to do as a town council. Faded lines is becoming a problem in a number of areas around town. We certainly need to deal with this situation because it's blocking an entrance. Whether they can bring forward the repainting of the keep clears, or if they can do it as early as possible in the new financial year. But you know, we need to put pressure on if we can. And if there's a problem with funding, do we have to try and find some funding within Taunton Town Council? I don't know. But I do think there needs to be more done with traffic management of the town. What time do the officers go out in terms of
8 o'clock.
parking offences?
8 o'clock.
So they do go out at 8 o'clock. Is there any chance that we can request that the first stop is this road? I mean, if they were there for you for 8 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't solve the problem during the night. I mean, double yellows, it's a 24-hour thing. You're not supposed to park it at 24 hours unless there's a sign saying otherwise. So they should be clear in the night, because obviously if there's a fire or something, you still need to get services in during the night. But at least if we had a traffic warden around at 8 in the morning, the gates will be clear for you. If they ticket them every morning at 8 o'clock, they'll stop doing it.
By now.
That would be my recommendation.
I think there's a lot of notes in which I think we need to push forward in an email to Somerset Council from us. For one, to help this business, get the lines put in and keep clear so this doesn't happen. But also, I think that negotiating of well, they come out of this building as such, they can go straight up that road and then start the link. So it's just rescheduling their map of their day walk, really.
It's a question of timetabling, isn't it?
Yeah, I can request that.
So I think that makes sense. I think what's your chance to play?
Do you have security there?
No.
You don't?
No.
Because the other way, I had the same problem in London. And what we did, we had letters put on cars which offended and kept putting them on them. I won't tell them the other thing we did, but still.
Yeah, I know what they do with those stickers. They don't come off for easy.
I didn't say that.
No, I think we're all in agreement that
Sure.
we can note those items to pass to Council Stainbourne.
Yeah,
Yes.
just sort of adding on the back of this, we do need to address these situations as a council with traffic, because if we don't, what we know from history and many times is that people start taking things into their own hands, and that's when we've seen issues up near the hospital and complaints of people getting tyres damaged and all these sorts of things. You don't want to leave it. We've got to start addressing these. If you just keep ignoring the problems, they just get worse. So we need to speak to them and see if we can do something.
Marcus?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think traffic management, then really I deal with in the department, she's very responsive. I was sort of promised as a major conurbation a monthly meeting with them. That hasn't materialised, but whenever I raise issues that come through from customers and we go through this process of discussing it in committee, they've been fairly responsive. So yeah, happy to keep applying the pressure. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So I think we're all in agreement of those notes. So could I get a proposal, please? Councillor Lester, could a second, please? Councillor Tully, could we go to the vote, please? That's carried. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for coming this evening. Your detailed comments really do help actually get some full image of what's going on. So I really do appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for your support.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thanks a lot.
Right, so I actually missed out one of the items. So we'll go back to the update on the Neighbourhood Development Working Group. So then just to note the update from the Neighbourhood Development Working Group. That's it to Marcus, please. Thank you very much.
You, Chair. So yeah, we met on the group. The group decided to favour a single consultation process on the final neighbourhood plan rather than a two-stage process, simplifying communication with residents. The working group agreed to align the plan's themes with Garden Town principles to ensure consistency with existing frameworks and strategic objectives. And the group discussed the structure of the January briefing session, because we have around 10 members of the public interested in serving on the working group going forward. So January will be when they are sort of onboarded, and there'll be a presentation for them here in the Deane House in January. Action items are for me to circulate bios of those potential new steering group members to existing members, update the project plan to reflect completed tasks. Our comms lead is working on a detailed engagement plan for the first stage of consultation in March, which we hope to time with the annual town meeting at the end of March. we are going to continue coordinating with Somerset Council to access emerging evidence-based studies relevant to the NDP. We need to establish an online presence for the NDP on our town council website. I believe there is a dedicated page. I'm just making it for some residents information that was done.
Thanks so much for that, Marcus. I'll say again, it's great to see the working group pushing on with this. And yeah, I think when January comes, we've got the, that big group of public members showing interest, shows how impactful it actually is. So yeah, look forward to that. Is there anybody would like to say? No? Oh, hello.
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 In the door.
We just do outside.
No, I forgot my badge.
Me too, yeah.
You didn't
I got on time. I was all right.
Oh, you nearly gave me a heart attack. You're the first chair to ever have a heart attack on TV. All right. Yeah. So we'll go to the next item then, number 7, which is the HGV signage. East Brick Road. Oh,
Yeah, is Liam here too?
no. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so could I get a proposer to note about the working group, please? Councillor Lester, could I get a seconder, please? Councillor Stainforth, could we go to the vote, please? That's carried. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right, the next item is number 7, HGV signage, East Wick Road, Councillor Liam Pollard. To consider an in-principle support of a request for HGV limits to be placed on the stretch of chicanes in East Wick Road. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I don't believe I did let Councillor Pollard know that we were going to have this on the agenda. We said he'd try and get ahead if we could, but obviously I don't think he has been able to. There was a number of issues that he's highlighted. He's keen to potentially use his WMIS funding to help support. And he's noticed it himself, obviously, I think, given his professional background as well. And HDB's using the chicanes and sat navs, sending them down there. I don't know if you know that it's quite a narrow and twisty road and not felt to be appropriate for HGV vehicles. The initial advice has been, it's one of those things to get formal full council, town council support for looking at this measures. I did manage to snag traffic management yesterday.
No, that's right. Yeah,
About this.
It's a joint on Tilbury.
And they just gave me some information about
Yeah,
There are,
so I thought it was. Yeah.
measures you've looked in institute a legal order via TRO to formally put something in place, but it does cost money to do that. It would only be enforced by the police. So she was very much of the view that actually we could spend a lot of money and practicality of it actually being enforced would be quite difficult. The other alternative is you could actually just put some, they would allow for unsuitable for HGV signage to go in place.
Yeah, I think that'll be it.
I think that's
The approach of each of the roads and offer a way, directionally that where they could go, and that would only cost the town council a couple of £100. You could also look to fund temporary CISA TV, which is something they offer. They have these devices apparently at Somerset that you could fund to be placed in that road to see how big of an issue it is. It's very difficult. I think one of the initial advice was more suited to a rural parish, so it's like saying, could you try and track where the HGV is going to, if like into a farm or a particular business, but given the urban nature of Taunton, recently said that as a town council we can't have officers going out there, following vehicles, but if people are able to sort of snap pictures of the types of HGV, then there might be an evidence base there. So yeah, really, I think just seeking a town council signal on whether that's something you'd be willing to support for that location. I think they would still like, as a service, Somerset County, even if you were prepared to help fund this via WMIS, a bit more of an evidence base. So I think that is something I'm going to relay to Councillor Pollard about getting some actual formal evidence of the problem, because obviously currently it's quite anecdotal. Thank you, Chair.
Great, thank you very much. Councillor Lester and Councillor Tully, please. Then, did you have a hand up? Then give us from.
Yeah, I think absolutely having the signage saying not suitable for HGVs. I mean, I've agreed that perhaps you need evidence, but I used to drive that way quite often, and it's a sharp nut for a car, much less an HGV. You're cutting across the chicanes, you're cutting across the corner of people's driveway. Excuse me, the corner of people's driveways. It is very narrow in certain areas more than others, but once you're committed to that road, you're going all the way from Oakbridge to Chetton, or you know, there's no stopping, if you see what I mean. So it's a long old road, and I can see why you wouldn't. I expect the lorries, as soon as they're there, regret it. But if sat navs are sending that way, I think having the signage at the very least is the right thing to do.
Thank you. Councillor Tully, Councillor.
Yeah, why isn't the unsuitable for HGVs 7 ton, 7 ton and less? Westmonton did exactly that through the village. And it was just one sign at either end of the village. It's simple. An HGV driver immediately won't use it because they're not going to risk what's coming through.
Thank you. Councillor Furman.
If we do use the sign, we'll need to say use Chen Road or whichever other road to, that they'd normally use to go, because otherwise they're going around about, see that sign
And go for it.
and then not know where else to go.
Yeah, good. Okay, I think we're probably in agreement that I think the best possible option first of all is to the sign, definitely. I think we're in agreement there. Or at least note that we support Councillor Pollard's proposal. Something should be done. So whatever's the most efficient, whatever's the most best way of completing this issue, actually. Councillor Staple.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I think the easy way to start is with the signage, because then at least, you know, if there's still a problem, then you look at other ways of doing it, which might be more expensive. But at least if you get the signage done, you know, we could get that done quickly and get it in place and see what kind of result we get with it. I agree with Councillor Tully. I mean, there's quite a few villages that I know travelling over into Dorset and things where they've got similar signage, and the lorries don't go through them. You know, that you put in a weight restriction and they don't want to go there. They get nervous about it. So I think it's worth trying.
Okay. Okay. So those notes, please. I think we're all in agreement. Could I get a proposer then, please? Councillor Tully, could I get a seconder, please? Councillor Lester, could we go to the vote, please? That's carried. Thank you very much. Right, guys. The next item is number 8. To comment on planning applications received from the local planning authority. So the first item this evening of planning applications is 8.1, which is 38-25-0402. For planning permission, erection of a single-storey extension to the rear, garage to the side, and replacement of porch to the front of 45 Clarendon Drive. Okay, is there any possibility I could have a look at the existing elevation plans, one's third to the bottom? On the proposed elevation plans. I think it's a lot better use of space. Can we also have a look at the, go back to it would be the floor plan for proposed. Additional use on the back definitely is going to open the house up a lot better, isn't it? And then we'll just sort of be a pain if we go on the existing floor plan. That'd be really good. Yeah, completely opens the house up. I didn't see any issues with this. Matching all finishes from the existing house. Yeah, I didn't have any problem there at all. Anybody have any comments on this? Councillor Stainford?
Actually, yeah, this is in our ward, Limerick Drive. It's single story, it's not overlooking anything, there's no windows overlooking anything, neighbours. It's an excellent use of space. I think it's a really good application.
Agree? Yeah, I agree. So could I get opposed to support this application? Councillor Stainford, could we get a second, please? Councillor Lester, could we go to the vote? That's carried. Thank you very much. The next item is 8.2, which is 38-25-0403. Retention of building works, etc. Installation of players' walkway from first floor players' balcony up to field of play at Somerset Cricket Ground, St James Street, Taunton. Retention of works already undertaken. Okay. If we go up a little bit, please. Keep going. Join. Yeah, join register. I might be looking at. Wasn't it? Yeah, post block. It just goes straight out. The from looking at what they'd actually proposed, it was, you know, from the materials they were using, it was in keeping with the actual stand what's already there, and obviously it just improves obviously everything going on at the actual club as it is. It said also said it's designed to blend into the existing architecture, which is great. And what we improves health and safety of both professional players and members of the public, which has been key. No, the club itself is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And obviously it is important these things. They've probably come to the conclusion these items are quite important. So was there any comments on this? I didn't see any issues. Cool. So to support, could I get a proposal, please? Councillor Lester, could I get a seconder? Councillor Stainford, read as the vote, please. It's carried. Thank you very much. The next item is 8.3, which is 14-21-0047, Outline Planning Permission. Application for Outline Planning Permission with all matters reserved, except access, compromising up to 1,450 dwellings, up to 4.91 hectares of land for strategic employment uses, up to 7.7 hectares of land for a through school mixed use district centre, including mobility hub, community facilities, green infrastructure, drainage works and associated works on land at Walker Cross, Monkton Heath. Okay. Let's have a look at first, guys. There's a lot.
Comments.
Is there a summary of the comments?
Yeah, you could do with some of the comments because there are lots of them. You may want to have a
Choose one.
Or a general vibe?
yeah, choose one or two and you'll get a general vibe.
Yeah.
From the public or
From the public, if you got,
Yeah,
and
I think
some of them are very long comments, but they all have similar.
England have an opinion.
On my head, just in case anybody put their hands up.
That's a clear objection.
We should get away from us.
What's your better voice for us?
We can't please all the people all the time.
Get back now. All right, has everybody had a chance to read that? If we have, we'll go on the Now I'm with the trust. That'd be interesting. One at the bottom, please.
Further comment.
Okay, great. We go back. think I'd look at West Moncton as well.
The problem is with, sorry,
Yep, go for it. Last thing.
the problem is quite a lot of the comments was it's a resubmission. And some of them, especially the statutory consultees, actually refer back to the original comments. But I think if you look at the residents' comments and so the parish council, I think that's going to be key because it does impact green space and where they were allowed to build. And for some reason, it seems the development seems to be going outside of the original plan, which is what's coming up with a number of residents posing issues.
Sorry, cast from.
Do we know what the physical changes are that they're making with this reapplication?
To start with, CalMAS is actually an organisation set up in West Moncton Village who don't particularly want the traffic going through West Moncton. What I think you all also know, this is not just the situation of the school and the new centre, but also the road set out. The new road set out will slow the traffic from Bridgewater to a virtually standstill. It's already doing it in Bridgewater Road where I live, and it will get it right the way round. It will cause more problems. And what these people are saying, I've read every one of those. I agree 100%, and I think you'll find West Moncton Parish Council also agree with them.
Could we look at the parish council?
It's three things. It's that we need a school there. Yes, we need the school. It's very important to get the school, but the road needs to be written right as well as the housing. Everything needs to be put right. If we just say, yeah, the school's fine, we'll go ahead with that. Persimmons have a rotten habit of changing things too quickly, and it's time that West Moncton Parish Council obviously is going to deal with it, but we also should say, because it will affect us in the long run. You know, you might think, oh no, it doesn't. The traffic, we know already, if there's a problem on the motorway, they go through the villages. You know, both West Moncton and Cheddar-Fitzpaine pay for it. And it will start to pay as well. I think we ought to be supporting the people there and tell them to get it right. They're not got it right yet. They promised a traffic survey. The survey doesn't give enough information. It's no good having a traffic survey for what's happening there today. It's what's going to happen in 10 years' time. Thank you, Chair.
Can you put in the street view?
That's creatures.
Or must have
Which
been.
village?
We've never reviewed the plan you had that was up there before. Do you mind?
We'll just get more to speak to.
There's a document that they've submitted the applicant.
Yeah.
And it says that the description of development remains substantially unchanged from that set out in the further submission of information back in January 2024. However, the size of the school site has been reduced to 7.7 hectares to allow the adjacent community hall site to be increased.
So that's the whole site there.
Yeah.
Now, from other developments in Taunton surrounding villages, it's so key we get one opportunity as a committee and as a town to get these details right. And if you get them wrong, we, you know, forever we'll be able to live with an issue. So we have to make sure it's right. If, in my opinion, upon reading a lot of the comments and also looking at the build up of the actual roadway system, that it's obvious that they've not got it right. And at the end of the day, for people's future life to be right, they need to go back to the drawing boards to get this corrected. Really. Oh, Councillor Lester and Councillor Thurman. Thank you.
So yeah, I think echoing what Ray said about we need to get the infrastructure and the road system right first, because having lived on a new development and also within our ward, we have a very large new development that we've rather inherited. The residential bit will go up like gangbusters, and everything else will be the last thing that gets done, and we need to try and put as much influence as we can in that it's the other way around, because you can never have too big a road for too few houses, but you can certainly have the other way around, and this will take a while to build. I mean, 1,500 houses, this is not a short-term project, is it? So I think that we need to try and put as much influence as we can onto the developer to do things the right way around, because otherwise they will chase residential profits over infrastructure. Possibly don't want to tire them with the same brush, but you know, I've seen it.
Thank you, Councillor Thurman.
There was a document on page 2 of the application that was called Transport and Movement Parameter. I thought that might be interesting to see, considering what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh no, not within the document itself, but within the list of documents. The third one up from the bottom. Oh.
Over the other one.
Access now. Yes. So it looks like there's just sort of one main road that goes through the centre of the development, and you join to the other tributaries rather than going from the main road itself. But I don't know whether that would create too much of a bottleneck either side.
You know, so Councillor Tully.
Trouble with this is that the first proposal where you show the main road coming in was to go to the outside of the side on the bottom and go around the outside, joining the relief road on the second roundabout. But I think it cost too much money. That's why they decided not to do it that way. And I think that was what they should have done. So anything going through would keep on the main road, and only people wanting to go to the site will it. At the moment, they're suggesting that traffic goes through the actual site, which is ridiculous. You will get 40-foot arctics come through there. You know, in the morning where I live, the traffic is built back for nearly 1.5 miles to 2 miles. When this opens, God knows what'll happen. It's wrong.
Councillor Stainforth.
Thanks, Chair. Chair, I think, you know, with as with a lot of these new developments, you know, the push is about getting more houses, and we understand, yes, we need more houses, but it has to be done in a sustainable way. There are a number of issues that have been raised, and especially about the centre. We already have this issue being raised on the development at Orchard Grove that's currently being built, and originally it was supposed to have a doctor's surgery and shops and a community hall, and already we've had some backtracking on that, well, there's probably not going to be a doctor's surgery because you have to find the doctors to want to open the surgery, so that's being backtracked. As recently about the pharmacy, well, we're not sure if anybody's going to want to open a pharmacy. So we have all these grand plans that they put down and say you're going to have these centres, but then if they don't materialise, that then puts pressure on all the existing services in Taunton, and it pushes them into services that are already oversubscribed. We've got to sit down with planning and development and say, yes, we can develop, but we need to make sure that we can provide services. You know, at schools, the schools it's getting
Infrastructure first.
completely out of hand. We've got more and more incomers into Taunton, which is wonderful. However, we are not building any more new secondary schools. They'll accept building primary schools because they're cheap. They don't want to build secondary schools because they're expensive. So it's just about money. Is that what this is all about? Because I thought it was about having a sustainable community in Taunton. So we need to push back on them. But also there's a number of residents who've made comments and they talk about, and I don't know enough about this site, they talk about the green necklace, which is and it's actually within the town plan, the plan that was developed. Did they have a plan developed for Moncton neighbourhood plan?
Yes.
Apparently it's within the neighbourhood plan and there's not supposed to be any development on that. If these plans go ahead, they're building on that, so it goes against the original neighbourhood plan. Why would we be allowing them to go ahead, go against the neighbourhood plan? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know enough about the neighbourhood plan. Apparently it's on page 96. But I think, you know, they need to go away, have a look at what the neighbourhood plan is as well, and what is allowed in terms of development in that area, but also come back with more sustainable structures in terms of, you know, shops, infrastructure, everything. Thanks.
Sorry, I want to throw another spanner in the works. Over the last 8 months, the motorway has been blocked for 29 times. And if it happens, all the traffic comes into Bridgewater Road and will go up that road every time.
Yeah.
There's no other way they can
It's
go.
not me.
And you can imagine what it's like. You know, I can take half an hour to get out. So they've got to get it right. It's got to be done first. You can't say, well, we're going to do this and do that and it'll be all right, because it's not. If we don't get it right this time, there's no other chance. That's what we get. I'm sorry, I'm not against it. We need the school. I'll be honest, we do need the school there. No, it's not Heathfield anymore now. It's Moncton Wood School is full, so we need another school if it will build more houses, but not at any price. It's not right. It's no good.
So hearing from everybody's comments, I think the access, highway safety and traffic generation, item number 7, definitely. I think the effect on well, it wouldn't be a conservation, it'd be how would we be able to say it's in that green?
The green spaces, I don't know what it
Green
comes under.
So I was looking at conservation area, but it wouldn't be underlined to the conservation area, would it?
It's because it is, I don't know what it's listed at.
Yeah. Unless we highlight that number 10 being outside of, and I also would like to say that, and also put about the neighbourhood development plan, that, you know, that's actually not in their neighbourhood development plan. So there's 3 items there that I think are pretty strong and which we need to list. Does that make sense?
Marcus, are we going to sound?
Yeah.
Sensible?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy with that. Okay, so on those items, I'll just go through it again. So it would be number 7, access of highway safety and traffic generation. Number 10, being out of that green area, and also that they kind of need to look at the neighbourhood development plan, because that's why those plans were put together, was to help people put that application, but also for Somerset Council to work alongside. That's, you know.
Well, if we're working on ours, what's the point in us doing one if it just gets ignored?
Chair, can I add one thing? You also got to remember that this plan also involves Shedden Fitzpaine Parish Council, because half of it's in there. It's in their area.
The comments on those Chedden Fitzpaine, what in there?
I couldn't find it.
You got
I think Chedden.
Westmont's comments.
That's Westmont.
I think there was. I thought
There
Chedden.
was Creechley, Michael's.
Richard Michael.
And keep.
I mean,
keep St
think,
Michael.
Preach St Michael, my apologies.
That's it.
Yes, keep St
I'm
Michael's
not
in there.
affecting if it's painful.
No, keep St Michael's in there. You had it earlier.
Yeah,
St Michael's is quite.
Find it.
No, it is in there.
It is in there.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got it.
That's it. But they're saying the same.
Yeah, exactly the same.
They're saying exactly the same.
Yeah.
With this thing, so.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So could I get a pose of it, please?
You vote on this.
That's it. Yeah, I did-
Can you vote on this? I think you can. You declared an interest.
you can,
Say, say for.
Marcus, what happens?
pardon?
Can I
Yes, we've got enough people to propose secondary and vote.
can I vote on it?
Not if
Because I did get an interest.
you declared an interest, is that?
You declared it, is it a prejudicial one, or you do feel you've already sort of
It's,
given a view on it at the,
I give it a review on other area, other places, yes.
yeah, I'd probably advise, yeah, voting if you.
Just in case, just in case.
Norris, that's great. So proposer, councillor Stapleton, second there. Councillor Fairman, can we go to the vote, please?
Yes, unanimous.
That's carried. Thank you very much.
Can you also, Chair, could you say that I didn't vote on it?
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, just in case I'm interested.
Share of interest. Thank you. No worries, still making fun. Right, the next item is 8.4, which is outline planning permission. Oh, sorry. Full planning permission, installation of external handrail to the steps outside Wyndham Gallows, Taunton Castle.
Andrew was breaking.
I've had a look at this and yeah, I didn't actually see any issues with this.
No.
Does anybody have any issues with this?
No.
No. Okay, could I get a proposed
Health and safety.
Yeah. So yeah, proposed to support this, please.
I will do that.
Councillor Tully, can we get a second there? Councillor Lester, can we go to the vote, please? Sorry, Aaron. Thank you very much. It's a really difficult one, that one. Right. Thank you. The next item is 8.5, which is 38-25-0405. Full planning permission conversion or change of use of 6 number of present HMO house and multiple occupancy into 2 residential flats in 37 East Street, Taunton. Interesting to see this because at the moment the trend seems to be the opposite way around.
I was saying that.
So
These actually look really good.
by the way, looking at the existing drawings and looking at the proposed afterwards, it's actually in all of the extra space that the actual floor has now.
Making the flats.
So much better.
I agree with it.
Oh, it's so much better.
It's probably.
And no issues with it.
Not at all.
That's sustainable.
Can I make a very positive comment? This is excellent. These are places for people to live. HMOs are not for people to live in. They're not homes. And those 2 apartments look really good. A very good use of this series. Well done.
Agreed.
I agree.
Fully support it.
Yep, so we'll get councillor Stainford to propose this. Okay, proposer, councillor Stainford, seconder, councillor Lester, can we go to the vote, please? That's carried. Thank you very much. Right, 8.6, 38-25-0411, which is full planning permission, demolition of conservatory, and erection of a part 2-story and a part single-story extension to the rear of Whitmore Farm, Whitmore Lane, Stapleford. Okay, if we, oh, Councillor Furman.
Yes, this is a house that's sort of far away from other houses, so there's no chance.
Yeah, there's no-
And I don't see any problem with it.
Bruce, could we also look at the site photos, please? Great. So the bat and protected report would be great. Thank you. Down the message in there. Farms nearby.
It's nice old building, isn't it?
This way.
I really like that.
Quite towny for a farm.
Yeah.
Looks like it's sort of slightly out, like it's photoshopped into a field.
It's like it has me.
Lovely, though. No bats. Back it's empty.
Don't have any problems at all.
No,
No.
not at all.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that before it's clear as well. So, if you, Councillor Furman.
I'd like to propose we accept it.
Yeah, no worries. You can be the proposer. Could we get a second, please? Councillor Lester, could we go to the vote? That's carried. Thank you very much. The next item is 8.7, which is 38-25-0404. Reserve matter application for approval. Reserve matters following outline application 42-23-0016 for the appearance, landscaping scale and layout for strategic infrastructure works associated with the delivery of infrastructure road WR04 at Orchard Grove New Community, including associated green infrastructure and drainage on land of Combs Taunton. Okay, what item? Something look at.
It's a tricky one to actually what you look at this. It's a tricky one to actually see what you need to look at, because this, again, there's a lot of information.
Covering that is quite a good one. I think that.
Don't look at that going again.
A bit of detail about it. She is.
Yeah. It's the top half of the development up beyond the Spine Road.
Yeah.
I can't I can't find the plans for what they're actually asking for in this reserve master application.
Councillor Freeman.
Could we look at the Western Neighbourhood PH2 or PI?
Yeah, it's
50p in a metre. Oh, there we go.
explain where it is.
Councillor Stainport.
Right, I can roughly explain where it is. It's in the Oxford Grove development on the other side of the Spine Road, which hasn't been worked on yet, between the equestrian centre and the Spine Road. I think that's the link road that they're talking about working on. I can't see any clear plans in there to actually show you where they're actually talking about. You can see it in another application where it shows you the houses. So yeah, Egremont Road is the Spine Road.
It's below that.
And you can see the sign where it says Orchard Grove Church. It's not Orchard Grove Church, that's a school. Don't ask me why it's, but the old church services in the school, so I'm guessing that's why it says that. That road is between Higher Comitrol Farm Lane and Egremont Road to the left of Light Hill Lane. I think that's the road they're talking about. Roughly where that one is, I think that's going to be the road going into that part of the development. I think that's what they're talking about, but it's not very clear in this application. That makes sense? Because is it, Brian, the one that you had said the
Have a letter.
is another.
Location.
There is a second application in here, isn't there?
Can you bring up
The document dated the 5th of December.
Is that one?
What's that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that cross one.
So that's the road I think that this is the application for. And then I think there is another application which goes in, which actually shows what the development's going to look like up there. Is that
Just asking this next phase of plan.
so? It's just the next phase. There's no change
Right.
from what I can see. And I don't see there being any issue with it because it's.
No,
I just wish they would be a little bit clearer when we put in their
Always.
applications,
There's
'cause they
always-
throw in lots and lots of technical
Yeah.
stuff, so you have to plough through it.
yeah, it's their modus operandi, isn't it?
Yeah.
You always wonder what's buried under there.
It doesn't help them, you know,
Not
when
hungry,
it
so
makes
to say.
questions, well, it makes it raise questions. So, I suspect that actually, yes. It's then. So I think it's in. I think this may be the actual. One of the houses. It's- Does it come up? So then there is another application, Marcus, is it 0407, which actually has the houses in it?
It says, outline application 42-23-0016.
So it's 0407 is the.
It links into 0407. That's the new. It's the new
the actual
application.
the new.
It's the new layout. It's the reserve matters layout. So the road, it won't be a problem because that's just a road. I think we have to just look then at the plans
407 in the context of the road.
in context of the
Yeah.
road. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
okay.
got to look at them sort of
So
together, really.
in that case, I don't think we've got a problem with this one. But it's when we get down to the actual residents.
Site location, here we go, here we go. Yes, there it is. So yes, 0407 is actually,
Yeah.
see, there's the,
So
that's the road which is on this
Yeah.
application
Yeah,
we're looking at
that's
just now.
Yeah.
But the actual houses are in that parcel between
the-
Equestrian Road, Egremont Road and the new
You
road.
want to
Yeah.
consider 0407 first and then
If, can we
Yeah.
put them together? I know it's out of sync. Are we allowed to do that?
Chair can move the agenda around if.
Yeah.
So it just means you can look at them sort
Yeah,
of
I think
one
that's
after the other rather than trying to think about it.
Is that okay? Okay, we'll try have a look at on 0407. This on the 0407? Do you want to read that map? 38-25-0407.
Allocation plan.
Just trying to find.
Yeah, so okay, that's the.
Really, that road.
That's the road.
Oh, it's gone, there is.
So that's the road. On the.
Yep.
On the left hand side.
That's the road that that previous application is talking about. which-
Yeah. And stay for it, go for it.
Next year. Totally, the road coming off the Spine Road is fine, and we'll look at the area with the houses. The only question is that going to be a crossroads with the lane up to the equestrian centre? Bear in mind, that's just a private lane up to the equestrian centre used by horses and children. Is it just a, can't really see it, is it just a crossroads? I don't know, because obviously the developers.
It looks like traffic coming on the left hand side can roll out. Then join.
Right.
It doesn't look like it goes on the right hand side.
It potentially actually makes it easier for traffic coming out the equestrian centre, just turning down there rather than to the very end to turn down the lane.
It's narrow, isn't it?
It just have to be very clearly signposted about horses and. Because it is quite, there's a lot of horses up there just now. I know there was an application discussed that we saw, which never came to planning, Marcus, for the equestrian centre. Remember we met with them. Was it Vestry?
Oh, yes, we did. Yes.
We met with Vestry, oh, that must be 2 years ago. There was an intention to put in an application for building, because the equestrian centre is within.
I thought that was the farm centre.
No, that is the equestrian.
Oh, that is the
That's the
equestrian
farm.
Sorry,
yes,
yeah,
so
no,
it's-
that's
it's
how I
all
remember
that-
it being the farm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's all that land around there, which that private road sits on. So eventually that potentially is going to be developed. But at the moment, it's an equestrian centre, lots of horses, lots of children. So that one is just one to be mindful of if it's cutting across that road.
I agree. So the item we're currently on, if I'm correct in saying, 38-2 25-0407.
Yeah.
That's the item we're doing first.
Yeah.
So we haven't got any councillors table.
Exactly. So that's where I was going to tell you to go to. There's the site
Yeah,
and
that's
the
the
other
bit.
plans. That's in the bit between.
Yeah, that's in the triangle, isn't it?
Where's the entrance to the houses? Well, it's
It's right at
also,
the end, so
No,
yeah,
there's-
so
there's
bottom,
only-
bottom left, there's an entrance in.
yeah, but it's the
And
they're
then-
cul-de-sacs, two cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, that's right. So you've got the big T-shape, which is entrance from right on the corner of the.
Yeah.
It's parallel, runs parallel to the lane,
Yeah,
and then you've got one off of the
Off,
main spine
yeah.
road into a smaller cul-de-sac. And then the rest are accessed via the two main roads, both of which,
Mhm.
or the new road and the main road, yeah.
That's a statement.
next year. So this Spine Road, the only thing that, I think the houses that are off the cul-de-sacs, they're gonna be fine. But a number of those houses sit on the Spine Road and their driveways, by the looks of things, are on the are off the Spine Road. Spine Road is very busy and we have a lot already, and there's only primary one, primary two, I think it's preschool and primary one that are actually there just now. That road is already parked up in the morning because there's no parking at the school. So you get a lot of people dropping off their kids. And it's not, there's passing places. I think they would, would have to be careful of what the parking restrictions are and things around there, because I think the residents might find that quite difficult.
You're gonna have virtually the whole length as drop curb. So
Honestly, the parking just now is causing chaos and there's only two classes.
no,
So when that primary school is going to hold 7 years of school kids.
it's a double classing or single one.
Don't know, it's a big school.
Yeah.
It was extended. How many does that school hold? Is it 600?
It'll be 60 per year.
I think it's 600. It can hold a big school.
Yeah.
Because remember they extended it.
So on this application, it's for approval of reserve matters for an outline application, application 42-23-0016. The appearance, landscape and scale, layout for the erection 44, number of dwellings, hard and soft landscaping, car parking, including garages, internal access roads, footpaths and circulation areas, public open space and drainage with associated infrastructure, and engineering works together with additional details as required by conditions number 7, 9, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21 and 23. Parcel H2C from Land Coventry and Taunton. So pretty much they've got their conditions in place, which is good. Obviously like what we said, they've allowed for the car parking like we've spoken about, but it might be worth noting about.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's noting the impact of non-residential parking.
Yep.
Because if people are parking on here to do school drop off, and basically as Councillor Stainthorpe said, you're going to have just you look under the sun here, you can see the drop curves with the angled lines across the pavement. You'll just have people dropping their kids up to school, blocking driveways forever.
Yeah, so
Nearly 50 yards from primary school. It's not a common activity.
I think we could say the access, highway safety and traffic generation is a good note on there. Like we said, we don't have a problem.
As well as highways.
It'd be noted that number 7, the access, highway safety and traffic generation, just noting next to it to allow for.
Just for that one road.
Yeah, school drop.
Just,
Yeah,
just the Spine Road.
Yeah.
The other roads are fine. It's that Spine Road, but it's just a bit of a concern.
So it'd be the north.
Neighbourhood Road.
but it will spread.
And well, you're right,
Yeah.
it will spread.
Oh, sorry.
So you live in one of
Yeah,
those areas
so-
then?
So to support this application, but just noting number 7 about the North Road, the future worsen of
Yep.
school nearby.
And support the road as well, so can we vote for both at once?
No.
Oh, so-
Okay, so we'll support this first one with those notes and then we'll then jump on to the next. Okay, so could I get a vote for that, please? Councillor Lester, could I get a seconder? Councillor Stainport, could we go to the vote, please? That's carried. Thank you very much. And for the next item, which goes back to 38-25-0404. We didn't have a problem with the road.
No.
So we're all in support of that. Okay, so could I get a proposer? Councillor Lester. Could I get a seconder? Councillor Stainford. Could we go to the vote, please? That's carried. Thank you very much. The next item is 8.8, which is 38-25-0413, full planning permission, erection of single story extension to the front of 25 Highfield, Taunton.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a single story.
Just look at the proposed floor plans and elevation. Now look at the existing afterwards, please. Thank you. Elvis,
It's really nice.
Mm.
Big plot.
straightforward.
Yeah.
Elvis, look at the existing. Perfect. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, not at all. Could I get a those to support, please? Councillor Stainford, could I get a seconder, please? Councillor Tully, could we go to the vote, please? Carried. Thank you very much.
It's just missed every time for this.
Look at his face.
Come and sit over here, at least you'll see you.
It was a magnet flash. Okay. Next item, 8.9, which is 38-25-0416, full planning permission, change of use of public house to residential institution, providing children care use class C2 up to 8, number of under 16, and ancillary 2, number of bedroom care unit with various external works, including partial demolition and replacement of rear extension of 1 Shutton Taunton. Pretty sure
We did this one last.
yeah, I'm
No.
sure we spoke about an item similar to this in the past.
I think there was a definite.
This is a different.
That's different now.
No, this is the pen and quill. It's pen and quill. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yes, yes, no, this is the,
No, because the other one was, yeah.
no, this is the pen and quill, which
Can stay, but go.
No.
Yeah.
before we even look at it, I think, so this building
Been empty.
has been empty and that I've lived
Yeah.
in Taunton 18 years and I think it's probably been empty most of it since I've been here. If somebody is willing to take that building on and make it into something useful, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, time.
I totally agree.
As long as they do it right.
You will also look at the, if you don't mind, if you got, well, we'll look at the next session. And yeah, I haven't actually got any problem with this, whatsoever. I echo what Councillor Stainford said. Obviously, we then are looking at a listed building after this.
Yeah.
This. That's Stainford.
Couple of comments when I looked at the floor plans. And it looked like all of the rooms had en suites, which is what we always look for, even in, if it was, obviously this is a residential home, so they're different thing. But the bedrooms all have en suites and there's adequate provision for staff as well, which previously when we looked at another one, that was the concern. This seems to have provision for staff.
It's big enough to be adequate for the service.
I
It is.
think so, and the only question that I would raise is, I don't know that there's any parking with this, and it's just the staff, if the staff have cars, I don't know. I know there's bike racks, I
Yeah.
couldn't see any parking,
There's the car park opposition.
but there's a car park opposite.
No.
It's obviously next to quite a busy road, and if this is a house for, residential house for children, it's obviously a concern that,
Mm.
for safety,
It's-
I
you're
mean,
right,
they
it is a
would
narrow
want to put
road.
rails.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
just outside the front, yeah.
I guess there will be regulations to turning this into a house for care.
Yeah, safe.
Yeah, I think they'd have to put everything to make it
Oh, yeah,
sufficient.
brilliant. Yeah, perfect.
A guardrail,
Yeah,
there it is,
But
found.
ready done,
okay, right,
I must have heard it.
okay. So, okay, Phil supports the application. Could I get a proposer? Councillor Tully, could we get a seconder?
Yeah.
Go to the vote, please. That's carried. Thank you very much.
Nobody's allowed to propose the next one.
Go over
Yeah.
to the next item, which is 38-25-0417 LB. This is the building consent.
Nice.
The same property.
Yeah.
Which we didn't have any issues. So, to support this.
Yeah.
Can I get a proposer? Councillor Lester, can I get a seconder? Councillor Froman, can we go to the vote, please? That's carried. Thank you very much. Okay. The next item is 8.11, which is 38-25-0419 CMA. Pass MA notification application to determine if prior approval is required for a change of use and conversion from commercial business and service use class E into 8 number of dwellings class C3 amended house High Street Taunton.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
there's no signs on this.
Is there any chance we can look at the bottom, down the bottom, please?
Yeah.
Was this the old?
Was this building?
This used to be where they did the child's court thingies.
It's opposite.
At the top of the high street.
Mm.
Yeah.
Stop in the high street.
Ah, right, yeah.
It's been laminated
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
again, a long time,
Oh, yeah.
right up at the top.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Yeah, it's been empty. Not quite as long as the other one.
No. But they did have problems with people breaking in and staying in it and things. I think it's, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's
that
on
was a
the
few
street,
years ago. Yeah.
We're also going to look at the Stockholm bin sort of location, please. Because one of the, I remember a property. I left my head. Proposed park storage for 20 bikes as well. Push to 16. So they're doing efficiently to
Yes.
work for.
and it's town centre, so I don't worry too much about parking in
Is that parking
And you've
space?
got a multi-story
No,
car park as
no.
well, literally.
No,
It's-
what numbers?
there. No, there was
No parking. No, what?
no parking
what's
for
the one
number
twenty?
6. I'm assuming that's other parking spaces for the,
The good thing is obviously you've got a multi-story account as well. which is
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantastic.
next year, probably jumping ahead a little bit. I looked at the floor plans. The only thing I had concerns on this was there are no room sizes. And they could be very small, or they might not be. I don't know. And without knowing the room sizes, I mean, the bedrooms there look like they don't have any wardrobes in them, so I'm not sure that they're very big. Can we just we actually have clarification that they are adequate for our guidelines of what room sizes should be?
I totally agree. Yeah, I think, now, would you say we comment or we support this application? Because really, we can't really support it without
No,
that.
I think,
detail.
I think we can't support it without knowing the room size, because you can scale a bed to look as more as big as you like.
Exactly.
Got matched it, you know.
Yeah.
Big for a very small person.
Yeah, indeed.
So I think we comment on this, raising lack of English. I think there's a design appearance, it will be layout density of building. That would be number 3. We'll just comment going,
There's no
there's
dimension.
no dimensions for rooms, so more clarification on that.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we get a proposal on that, please?
Yeah.
Councillor Lester, can we get a seconder? Councillor Tully, could we go to the vote? It's carried. Thank you very much. The next item has already been addressed.
Yep.
It's 8.12, because we moved that forward a little bit. So we're going to 8.13, which is 38-25-0420, which is full planning permission, installation of shopfront and external signage at 11 4th Street, Taunton. on shop front as proposed. We look at the shop signage there, that'd be great.
Still can't think where it is.
It's on,
Okay.
It's a nice.
yeah, it's where Hotter,
Yeah.
that's the
Oh, right, yeah, got you.
comfortable shoe shop.
That's right.
So this is the installation shop front and external signage at 11 Ford Street. Yeah, I didn't have any issues with it.
Can you go back to the existing? I just want to see, there's one thing I want to go back to the existing one.
A map. Or
Yeah,
very rich.
Stable.
actually, the only thing I wanted to have a look at is is there an intention to change the windows, or are they keeping the windows? I'm not, the ground floor ones have been tampered with lots over time, but it's the upper windows, are they staying the same?
Well, it seems to me that installation of the shop front and external signage, they're not actually going on the
Yeah,
shop.
I'm not
No.
touching that, as long as that's all I wanted
No,
to
no,
check,
no.
was just those windows.
Yeah, I'll probably say if they were going up on the second floor, then there might be, but looking at it, it's only.
The ground floor is just wood paneling and stuff for the shop, so not a problem at all.
Any more
Yeah.
comments?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
No, good. Okay,
Looks nice.
so to support this application, could I get a proposal? Councillor Tully, could I get a seconder? Councillor Furman, could we go to the vote? It's carried. Next item is 8.14, 38-25-0421-A, advertisement, display of one member internally illuminated fascia sign and one member internally illuminated projecting sign at 11 Ford Street, Taunton.
Same place.
So it's exactly the same place.
Yeah.
It's just talking about the illuminated sign. That's it. Looks good. Problem with that? Is there any comments on this? No, okay. Could I get a first, please? Support. Councillor Tully, could I get a second, please? Councillor Stainford, could we go to the vote? It's carried, thank you. Then next item is 8.15, 38-25-0422-LB, which lists the buildings and networks. External signage at 11 Ford Street, Taunton. We've already commented on this twice now.
Being very thorough.
For this,
Was this being sure? Better safe than sorry.
that's what we're saying, don't know. It's, you know, it's to create the new businesses and want to come to the high street, best in the high street, but also it brings it up to today's look at other shops. So I think I'd like to welcome that. So certainly, I've got a problem. So anybody support? Yeah, Councillor Tully, could we go to seconder? Councillor Stainford, please. Carried, thank you.
I think we're good at, because Halter's not closed yet, so hopefully it's.
8.16, which is 38-24-0256. Amendment for planning permission, change in use of former police station into 39-bedroom house and multiple occupancy at Taunton Police Station, Block A, Upper High Street, Taunton.
Done this one before as well, haven't we?
Tricky one.
It's the The room side one. yeah.
No, this, the comments last time were around, there was no parking.
Ah, yeah.
There's no parking there. They've blocked.
Because it's a HMO, they're not subject to the room size
Oh,
aren't they?
regulations, and
But
they weren't.
They are at least all en suite.
Mhm.
That's,
Mm.
because that's in the past with it.
Yeah.
Some of those ones.
So it's getting, change of use of former police station into 39 bedroom HMO.
Mm.
What would everybody like to look at? Ultimately? Keeps going there.
Only one school.
Yeah.
Have we looked at Taunton Town Council comments from?
Yeah, we just had
We've done that, and what did we do?
We said we basically we commented that we were for this many residences there was no parking
Parking.
was the key thing that we commented on. Although it does say there apparently are 6 parking spaces. I don't know quite how they're allocated between 40, but has anything substantively changed? Can we?
I don't think so.
I did have a look at it, so there have been changes, they're all internal and they don't address any. It was the other issue was around parking, they haven't changed that. There was a interesting update from the housing provision, which said that as the proposed scheme is a 42-bedroom house of multiple occupancy. Under that usage, and the fact that it's not self-contained and sharing kitchens, it doesn't trigger any affordable housing development on site. So they've asked that the applicant consider providing affordable homes instead. But
Okay.
there hasn't been a decision made on it since we commented,
Right.
Okay.
but they've revised the.
Okay.
Is that too early for us to then comment?
Yeah, we'd like to hear what.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like
I
to,
agree.
yeah, I'd like to hear what comes of that discussion. Yeah.
Okay, are we all right to push this back to this to the next January meeting?
Yeah.
On the assumption that we get feedback.
Yeah, so if we can ask try and offset.
Yes.
Sorry?
2027.
When will that be? What's the date? 18, 19? So, do we need to?
Not often bring this up, but this is one I think we need a site visit to actually see it for ourselves.
An away day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one day. I really do. I think if they're going to try and put this here, you know, it's a police station, they do look nice, they look like cells. And I personally would, I need to see more of it.
Yeah.
Next was the 19th. Yeah. So the next planning meeting is 22nd January.
Yeah.
If we could possibly put this decision back to the 22nd of January, great. And at the same time, we'll see if, do you know what, even like, I don't know whether,
Just earlier that day.
yeah, like Councillor Tully said something like that, or they should do like a walk through video, something like that.
Yeah, or that, yes, do some
That'd
kind
be
of,
helpful.
that'd be great.
The only problem may be there are occupants in it, isn't there? You know, what is they call them?
Oh, yes, you're right.
Guardian.
Yeah.
House guardians or something. So they would be mindful of the fact that there are actually people staying in there, so they might not be too keen to have people wandering around. But we should ask. I think the thing is, this is a really important building in Taunton. It's a lovely building. On one hand, we want it to be developed. You know, we don't want to hold back development. We want to get it developed. But on the other hand, we want to make sure that it's a suitable place for living in. It's not just, again, squeezing in lots of boxes for people just to sleep in.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's very so.
It might be good for the future if, when it does become on occupancy, that they can take off the ratings from the windows. So
Yeah,
it's less like a prison.
It's all part of the look, mate.
it does.
Well, if they make those really small rooms,
Yeah.
they might as well just leave them.
Okay, so we'll push this decision back to January.
You vote to defer.
Yeah, so we defer this.
Yeah.
Okay, could I get those, please? Councillor Lesser, could I get a seconder? Councillor Staple, could we go to the vote? It's carried, thank you. The next item is 8.17, which is 38-25-0428, full planning permission, direction of 1, number of dwelling, detached dwelling, with associated works in the garden of Seaston College Cottage, Manor Road, Staple Grove, resubmission of 38-25-0259.
I noticed how that.
Do you remember why it was resubmitted?
Can we have a look? I think
That was when.
Oh, the wrong Manor Road. That's why I can't think where it is. Yeah. So to say, how do I know where that is? I live around the corner.
You might enjoy it.
Oh, not that one.
I think we,
I think it's the former school building.
Yeah, I remember what the problems were in the past was the visibility. It's Corkscrew Lane.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Corkscrew Lane. Came back in summer.
But it's right. Yeah, right at the beginning, Corkscrew Lane. Yeah, it's hidden in those trees.
Entrance.
items would you like to correct? So it's a, one number detached dwelling associated works in the garden of Season College, Manor Road, Staple. Shall we have those? Pardon?
Proposed plans?
Yeah, go for it. Proposed plans, please. Yeah, no worries. Okay, have a look at,
A site plan.
yeah,
It's the whole thing.
we'll go one to the bottom there. That's great. Same one. Okay, we go back. Right, well, Metro.
So, notice all.
What has changed from the previous application to this? Do we know why, what the resubmission was on? I know there was questions raised over the access.
Sorry, Jay, it says in the covering letter plan statement that the concerns raised from the previous application of the site being cramped and the new dwelling being dominant and overbearing have been addressed with a considered new design. That's altered the massing and orientation to avoid any overlooking and create plenty of space between the two dwellings. So that's obviously their view.
It's in
Yeah,
there.
so we need to look at.
Yeah, can we do a before and after of the two different? We look back to the old one. So,
Yep, so I think we'll look at the, we've just looked at the proposed plans. If we go back on that resubmission of 38-25-0259, then we'll look at the proposed plans on that and then just bounce back.
Plans, is it the? I don't know, it's the elevations, is it not? Because it was the size of the.
I was thinking about the wrong Manor Road, so I'm not the best person to check.
Right one.
Maybe it was
Yeah. it was-
Okay, no, I can see what's that on there.
Right, yeah, because it's,
That's the old one, that's the new one.
right, okay, so.
Just like a garage.
Forward,
Yeah,
like that,
that's old.
that's the, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
better.
No, that is better.
So it's created like a, like a garage.
Yeah,
And the driveway is.
yeah, they.
That's a
and they
better,
fixed it, that's, yeah.
yes,
I've got a problem with that.
no,
No,
that's much better.
I'll take on board the comments.
Yeah.
Approved it. What problem with it?
Nope.
Okay, to support this application, could I get a proposer, please? Councillor Lester, could I get a seconder? Councillor Furman, could we go to the vote? That's carried. Thank you very much.
You do.
The next item is number 9, to comment on licensing matter received from the local licensing authority. Members to consider application for licenses submitted for consultation. 9.1 MA -60609. Application for a grant of a premises license, Fathead Brewery, 1 Riverside Place, St James Street, Taunton.
Does everybody have alcohol?
It used to be in Carnseys.
Oh,
for a
yeah.
brief period.
What
like
they do
Jim-
premises?
But yes, there's.
Opposite the bar shop.
How's Google Earth driven through that?
Let's go run through.
Got a smart car, mate. Yeah, I think that they've already got a license to obviously sell alcohol as it is anyway. But they want us looking.
Have they already got seats outside?
They've got-
I think they might, did they already have seats outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
They got permission for that.
Yes.
So this is just music.
Oh, this is just, yeah, that's right. So it's for music.
It's a pretty commercial area there, isn't it?
It is.
Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's not like there's any residential houses around there to a point. It's pretty kept out of the way. I'd probably say the nearest house is what?
Where is that?
It's flats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be in it. Yeah, I haven't got a problem with this.
Because so upstairs and all of those are all businesses.
Yeah.
So don't know if there's any flats even.
No, I think they had their offices.
Problem with that at all?
Sorry, Chair, is it on licence or off licence?
It says grant. Premises license.
Premises licence.
This
So
would be
the only-
on the activities applied for our films, live music and supply of alcohol, so I presume on site consumption.
It doesn't say.
Sorry.
Any comments?
Seems just on site or not.
No, there's
There's no problems right now.
No problem.
no
with it.
problem. Okay, so the sports application, could I get a proposal, please? Councillor Tully, could we get a seconder? Councillor Stainthorpe, could we go to the vote? That's carried. Thank you very much. I think, is there any items that anybody would like to comment on? There was one that had been added, which I picked up, which was extra application, which was 38-25-0388.
We previously suggested
Change. Oh, this has come to us before.
Hmm.
And we said there was too many
Yeah, it was too blocked.
squeezed in. So yes, we have a.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember the keyword as one thing.
As soon as I saw it, yeah.
Look at this.
I want to see if the actually true.
Yeah, I was going to say, we might want to do it before and after on this one as well, if possible.
Yeah.
Is that right?
What was it before? It's
So
for 80.
this is 38-25-0388. And I think there will be another application, or it might even be all joined in.
I'll try to find it. They don't exist.
Let's read some of the comments as well. Any comments you'd like to read there?
Fire and rescue.
Yeah, fire rescue might be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get back again, please. We'll have a look at comments from our house, please.
Is this a decent question?
Take a look at the. Yeah, see if it's referenced to the previous submission, because
Because we're, yeah,
I'm thinking of a different one.
Change of use from officers into AC2, number of dwellings for key workers and associated words at Block C, County Hall, Taunton.
Oh no, this is not the one we're thinking of. No, certainly not the one I was thinking of. This is the
oh no, this is,
yeah, this is the empty block, the empty council block, isn't it? Facing on. Yeah, sorry, I was miles off of where I thought we were talking about.
Okay, so
Oh, this
they've
is-
got parking underneath, haven't they?
oh, this is the one we looked at before. We've had this before.
We had this one before. Are you sure?
Did we not have this one before? It was the number of rooms in it. There was, is that the, what was the council buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember they were trying to squeeze lots and lots and lots and lots of rooms in.
No, so I think I agree that we may have seen it before, but it wasn't the one I thought we were talking about when we started the. We've seen it before.
No, this is the one that. I'm pretty
Let
sure.
me take a look at the.
From memory, I thought we said that, I think it was like,
It had too many, remember this, you recognise the plans when you see them.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
really compact.
It was there was too many rooms, apartments, whatever you want to call them, the density. But that's why I would like to see what, I'm sure what was the original? If this is 82, has it changed from what we previously looked
Yeah,
at?
was it 82 previously? Because you'd expect the number of dwellings to come down.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Ah, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I do remember this one now.
Let me have a look, see if I can Google, find out when this last.
It was on the size of the rooms, I think,
Yeah.
as well.
Yep, go for it.
So there was a previous application which. Okay.
Say it was 90.
I think it was a lot. It looks like the floor sizes are all above 40 metres square. There's one at 39.27.
So it was 71 number dwellings at Block C, County Hall. Then that was a class, notification to determine if prior approval was required.
That's what it was prior approval.
Ah, yeah.
But there was only 71 in that and there's now 82.
Please remind me of the minimum sizes again. Sorry.
Depends on lots of,
Lots of variable.
yeah, it depends on if they're all on the same floor, if they're self-contained, if they share amenities, and if they're double or single,
They're all self-contained.
they're all self-contained.
Yep.
And this one, so I'm just trying to find the previous.
No, it was.
We need to extend.
Yeah, there was, to extend, could I get a proposal, please? Councillor Lester, could I get a second? Councillor Furman, could we go to the vote? Okay, thank you.
24 metre square studio apartment.
Um,
That's one.
Oh,
4.5.
right, right.
it was 3.
5.5.
Okay, so it will create 82 flats beside the former office block. If approved, 81 bedroom furnished flats and studios will be created, as well as a couple of 2-bedroom flats. The development would have 10 car parking spaces and 84 bicycle spaces. An associated member of staff will oversee the facility.
It's a pretty small premium studio apartment. I'd hate to see what the basic ones are. I'd say the apartments look okay, but these studio flats look.
Yeah, so they have upped it by an extra 11.
They've added
We've
more.
actually added
We
more.
said there were too many and they've added more.
Yeah.
Back in.
I just don't have, I can't find what the number of the application was in which we commented on that.
We've got the comments. Yeah.
Amazon you go.
So you objected on material consideration to design and appearance, impact on public visual amenity, material consideration of free layout and density. Number 5, loss of trees, and 6, inadequate parking or servicing areas.
It's actually worse than it was.
Yeah.
I mean, these studio apartments are 21 metre square and they've called that a premium studio apartment. 21 metre square for a whole apartment.
That's basically the space from that pillar to the wall and that pillar to the wall. That's that
And that
corner
is-
of this room.
Living room, bed, double bedroom,
And
bathroom, kitchen. My God, where's there a wardrobe?
What was the size? Sorry.
Across this, so that'll be the wardrobe there, because it's an open plan, because it's a studio, it's not actually a room, it's a walk-through.
No,
with a
it's
bed on.
a walk-through with a bed.
Yeah.
21 metre square. Jeez.
It's like a barge, isn't it?
Well, I think really straight away from going from 71 to 82 and not
Right,
address what we've actually spoken about.
No,
And parking's.
okay, parking they can't change, but
I actually thought that when this came forward, that in the back of my head, I had this number of 94. And
That's what I've got it.
But actually gone the other direction. So really, I kind of feel like you've gotten,
Yeah.
we kind of got to echo what was said before.
yeah.
Same problem.
Is that okay? Is that possible to comment what we commented before? I think we're probably all in agreement.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Okay, so on that point then, could I get a proposal then, please? Councillor Lester, could I get a seconder? Councillor Stainford, could we go to the vote? That's carried. Thank you very much.
It's an objection.
That's to object, yes,
Yeah.
on all of the points we raised before.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the question?
Councillor Stainford.
I don't know about the trees. Has that changed? Because previously we had mentioned the trees and I don't know whether you would be careful that they haven't changed that because I don't,
We didn't look at the tree, yeah.
there was a comment to say about the trees being removed on the previous one. What were the previous comments? Is it Ollie?
Well, it was to object for material consideration to design and appearance. Number 3, layout and density, 5, loss of trees, and 6, inadequate parking or services.
What's the trees?
So it's not the 5, maybe
But
we.
We may have to take.
You have already voted. This one, you
Okay,
can't
all right,
vote on the vote.
How on?
There will be lots of trees or ecological habitat, so that's the
Yeah,
one. So,
I don't know if they've changed that actually.
okay, is there out of this list, guys, is there any other items that you'd like to look at? Councillor Frum?
Yes, just asking about 38250151, no appeal. Do we know if, they've been successful with that or not?
Is that for the BT pay?
Yeah.
So that is 38-25-0151. Removal of BT payphone and installation of one number of BT street hub on pavement outside 29 to 31 North Street, Taunton.
And they've been refused. Oh, okay.
That's, that was Somerset Council, but
It was refused, wasn't it? But if they've appealed, what's the?
It will be determined by
Who determines
the
it?
inspector.
I think we'll go right to the end on that. Is there anything you'd like to? Councillor
Decision.
although they say in that conclusion there wasn't any danger to pedestrians or cyclists, I still feel like it being in the centre of the walkway, or at least, kind of centre towards the pavement, it still feels like it's a bit of a danger. I'd be happy if it was, kind of on the side of the shop, sort of facing outwards rather than facing like
Yes,
horizontal.
yes, right angle to I know what you mean. If it were perpendicular rather than a right angle to the walkway.
Yeah.
It's making much less, it's much less of a barrier.
Wait, can you put
See-
the picture up again? Where's the, what it looked like?
I guess there's no different than like a telephone.
And also actually it's in front of the bike stands, isn't it?
Is it any different?
That's true.
to a
So,
stop?
I don't- Yeah, I think you're right. It probably is.
It's probably the width of a telephone box.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
painful.
Actually, I don't think it's any different to the width and size of the side of a bus stop. And in lots of places, most times, they have adverts on the sides of bus stops. So I understand, the Councillor Furman's coming from about obstructions on the pavement. However, there is a bike rack just the other side of there. So it's already obstructed. It's one of those ones, I think some people were concerned about it being a distraction, but the fact that it's on the right-hand side, which means the traffic coming, would it be double-sided? That would be
Yes, it would.
questions.
Yes, it would be. But also it's on one of the wider parts of the pavement that's we have on
I
that.
was just thinking about the direction of traffic and
Yeah,
would it be a distraction? Therefore, do you have only on one side so that the direction of traffic is not driving straight
I
up?
would have
I
thought.
think with this application that we actually
I
yes,
think, I think we did. I was going to say, I don't recall that we
wouldn't not support
objected it.
but
I think we did support
the
it.
only thing we didn't support was one outside station road. The only item we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I guess there's no results on that bill. Okay. Is there anything else, anybody else would like to know? No. Okay.
Hopefully the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so so on the list of any other items, any councillors, could we vote those comments?
Oh, yeah.
Please, to support. Councillor Lester, can I have a seconder? Councillor Furman, could we go to the vote, please? That's carried. Thank you very much.
Bye.